morning. I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros. Oh, ano ngayon
It's
Thursday.
na. One more day. It's Friday.
Yesterday and of course pinag-uusapan yung mainit at colorful na drama sa Quadcom yesterday.
Pinanood ko yun hanggang 10, 11. As expected naman, nothing shocking. Yung Congress, alam naman natin, hindi friendly sa Duterte. So, they were very stern and strict with the way the former president would conduct himself. Niiwasin na ang bad words, which were
Pero nakakalusot pa rin, di ba? Pero compared daw sa Senate, mas control ng Congress.
Oo, kahit may mga away-away here and there, ambahan here and there, the Senate kasi parang binibaby daw siya. Ito naman, hinigpitan nila.
Oo. Tapos may mga surprise appearances.
Yes.
Vice President Sara Duterte went there. And of course, nakita rin natin si Senator Trillanes na naging
He's a resource person.
Din.
Okay, we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Let's start our countdown with sports. Gilas Pilipinas will start their training for the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers this month. Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas or SBP confirmed that the team will have its bubble training in Calamba, Laguna. The members of the 15-man pool include June Mar Fajardo, Japeth Aguilar, Kai Soto, and AJ Edu, as well as Chris Newsom, Scotty Thompson, CJ Perez, and Dwight Ramos. Also joining them are Mason Amos, Calvin Oftana, Jamie Malonzo, Carl Tamayo, and UAAP reigning MVP Kevin Kiambao. Rounding up the list are naturalized players Justin Brownlee and Ange Kwame. Gilas will first face world number 22 New Zealand on November 21, then will move on to Hong Kong on November 24.
Wala na si Jordan, sino ngayon? Clarkson.
It's Justin Brownlee. You're only allowed
one, diba?
One in FIBA, one naturalized. In other tournaments, you're allowed 2 or 3. But to qualify for the Olympics, one naturalized player. So it's either si Kwame or si Brownlee or
si Jordan.
No, Jordan is not in the finalist. He's still with the Gilas program, pero he's not part of this window. Kasi medyo qualifier lang naman to.
Si Dwight Ramos ba nabanggit mo?
Yes, nabanggit ko si Dwight Ramos.
Okay. So, yan. Good luck sa ating mga Gilas players. Okay, let's continue with our countdown. Ophel intensifies into a super typhoon as it undergoes rapid intensification. For the details, Pag-asa weather forecaster is joining us today. Sino ba ating weather forecaster ngayon? Okay. So, ayan nga,
technical difficulty lang tayo. We're discuss natin sana itong si Ophel. Kasi may possibility na si Ophel will interact with the coming typhoon. What's his name? Pepito. May possible interaction when Pepito kasi intensifies daw today and then the next few days.
Diba yesterday din nakausap natin yung isa sa mga Pag-asa weather forecaster and na-confirm nga niya yung absence or yung delay ng amihan. Kaya, di ba ngayon nakita natin sunod-sunod yung pagpasok ng mga bagyo sa bansa natin. So Philippine Air Responsibility, dahil nga daw hindi ito nababago ng track dahil may delay yung amihan natin. But ito nga, let's go back for the details. We have Pag-asa weather forecaster joining us today, Glyza Escolar. It's now on the line. Good morning po, Miss Glyza.
Good morning din po sa inyo at sa lahat po na nakikinig at nanonood ng One News.
Opo. Nasaan na po ang mata nitong super bagyong Ophel at ano po ba yung mga areas sa maapektuhan nito?
Ang bagyong Ophel po ay huling namataan natin, 165 kilometer hilagang-silangan ng Itzaque, Isabela or 165 kilometer timog-silangan ng Tuguegarao City. Taglay nito ang lakas na hangin na 185 km per hour malapit sa gitna kaya idineklara po itong super typhoon. At ang bugso po nito aabot hanggang 230 km per hour. Inaasahang kikilos pa hilagang kanluran sa bilis na 15 km per hour. Nakataas na po ang wind signal number 5 sa northeastern portion ng mainland Cagayan, specifically po ang mga munisipyo ng Santa Ana at Gonzaga. Wind signal number 4 naman po sa southeastern portion ng Babuyan Island, specifically ang Camiguin Island, At dito rin po sa northern at eastern portions ng mainland Cagayan, specifically ang Santa Teresita, Ballesteros, Apari, Camalanigan, Bugay, Lalo, Alacapan, Gataran, Bagao, Peña Blanca. At ganoon din po sa northeastern portion ng Isabela, specifically sa Maconacon, Dibilacan at Palanan. Kung maalala niyo po, ito rin po yung areas na affected ng mga nagdaang bagyo. Wind signal number 3 naman po sa nalalabing bahagi ng Babuyan Islands, sa nalalabing bahagi ng Cagayan, northern at central at southeastern portions ng Isabela, northern portion ng Apayao at northern portion ng Ilocos Norte. Wind signal number 2 naman po sa Batanes, western at southern portions ng Isabela, northeastern portion po ng Quirino, nilalabing bahagi ng Apayao, Kalinga, northeastern portion po ng Abra, eastern portion ng Mountain Province, eastern portion ng Ifugao, nalalabing bahagi ng Ilocos Norte at northern portion ng Aurora. Wind signal number 1 naman po sa nalalabing bahagi ng Isabela, nalalabing bahagi ng Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, nalalabing bahagi ng Mountain Province, nalalabing bahagi ng Ifugao, nalalabing bahagi ng Abra, northern portion ng Benguet, Ilocos Sur, northern portion ng La Union at northern at central portions ng Aurora. May banta rin po ng storm surge dito po sa may bahagi po ng coastal communities po dito po sa Batanes, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Cagayan, kasama po ang Babuyan Islands, Isabela at Northern Aurora. Inaasahang pong aabot ng 1 hanggang 3 metro po ang taas ng alon po sa pagdating po ng bagyong Ophel. Opo.
Okay. Tanong ko lang din po ito kasi meron kaming na-mention na rapid intensification ng isang bagyo. Bakit at paano nangyayari po itong rapid intensification ng isang bagyo?
Ang usually po kinoconnect po sa rapid intensification ay ang enerhiya po ng dagat. Incorporated na po dyan yung temperature, yung lalim ng mainit na dagat, at yung energy po, yung likely po temperature po ng dagat po talaga ang isa sa mga factor po. Sa atin po kasi dito sa malapit sa Pilipinas o dagat na malapit sa Pilipinas, mainit po ang dagat, so ang enerhiya po nito ay yun po yung kinukuha ng bagyo. Kaya halos karamihan po sa mga dumaangang bagyo ay nag-undergo po sa rapid intensification o yung biglaang paglakas o medyo may bilisan yung paglakas po ng mga bagyo.
Yes, yung mga kasi pinag-aralan ko today, no, yung mga forecast track ng mga bagyo. At nakita ko yung pang-iba ng track ni Pipito kaninang umaga na papasok na sa par na ata, no? Magkakaroon ba siya ng interaction? Kasi sabi ng Pag-asa parang sa initial nila assessment or possibility, baka daw magka-interaction si Pipito and si Ophel.
Sa ngayon po, hindi pa natin nakikita po yung gano'n. Ang pagbaba po ng track ng Pipito ay likely po malapit na po yung paglakas po ng amihan. So magkakaroon po ng high pressure area dito po sa northwestern portion po ng bagyo. Dahilan po para mas mababa ng konti po yung naging track doon sa mga naunang bagyong tumama po dito sa ating bansa.
Pero si Pipito, will it hit central and southern Luzon as predicted?
Nandun pa rin po yung possibility na tatama po siya sa Central Zone. So, for Bagyong Pipito po o yung Tropical Storm Manny, ang pinaghahanda po nating mga region ay Eastern Visayas, Bicol Region, Calabar Zone, Mimaropa area, Metro Manila at Central Luzon dahil posible na ito po yung tahaking ruta po ng Bagyong Manny o tatawaging Bagyong Pipito sa pagpasok po nito ng Philippine Area of Responsibility mamayang gabi at lalapit po ng landmass naman bandang weekend po.
And at its peak, ano yung mga possible wind signals na magkaroon habang nandito si Pipito?
Ang tinitingnan po natin base po sa ating track ay aabot po ng typhoon category, pero dahil mainit nga po ang dagat na malapit po sa Pilipinas ay hindi po natin niro-rule out na maging isang super typhoon din po ang Bagyong Manny na tatawagin po nating Pipito pagpasok nga nito ng Philippine Area of Responsibility.
Meron din po ba tayong iba pang update sa iba pang weather disturbances sa binabantayan ng Pag-asa?
Sa ngayon po, base po sa forecast ng Climatological Division naman, for the next 2 weeks po ay ito lamang po ang weather disturbance na nakikita po nila na pwedeng mabuo as bagyo po o nabuo na nga po as bagyo. Wala na po tayong nakikitang signal sa ngayon na magkakaroon po ng mga LPA o bagyo sa susunod na 2 linggo. Pero siyempre po nagbabago pa rin naman po ang continuous po ang movement ng mga system po natin at yung mga parameter po o mga scenario po, lalo na sa dagat, kaya pwede pong magbago po yung mga projection po natin in the coming days.
Oo, sa ngayon po ba, lastly, meron tayong gale warning at saka just to be clear lang din kung may din tayo, banta ng storm surge sa different areas?
Yes po, ang banta po ng storm surge para sa bagyong Ophel po ay dito po sa isa-isahin ko po yung mga probinsya dito po sa mga coastal communities ng Batanes, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Cagayan, kasama ang Bubuyan Islands, Isabela at Northern Aurora. Same areas din po ang gale warning po natin, so bawal pong pumalaot yung ating mga kababayan. Doon din po sa binanggit ko mga areas dahil maalon hanggang sa napakaalon po ng karagatan. Ngunit in general po dito po sa seaboards po ng Northern Luzon at Eastern Seaboard po ng Luzon, bawal po munang maligo yung ating mga kababayan dahil kahit po walang gale warning ay maalon na po ang karagatan sa silangang bahagi po ng ating bansa.
Alright, sige. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was Pag-asa Weather Forecaster, Glyza. Alright, sige.
Escolyar, si Glyza Escolyar.
Okay, let's continue with our countdown.
Placing at the 8th spot is the Department of Social Welfare and Development. The SWD expressed confidence that they have enough funds for disaster response. This despite the consecutive storms battering parts of our country. Mobile journalist Julie Baisa with the report.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development assured the public that they are ready to provide family food packs and non-food relief items to affected local government units despite the 5 cyclones that consecutively hit the country.
All throughout the year may naka-standby talaga kami na more than 1 million family food packs talaga yan at talaga nagamit natin dito sa sunod-sunod na mga bagyo na at pagbaha na ito. At ang bilin ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos po ay within 24 hours, partner, within 24 hours na ma-clear yung mga sites na ito ay ating kailangan makapagbigay na tayo ng tulong sa ating mga kababayan.
So far, more than 1 billion pesos worth of humanitarian assistance have been provided for the victims of Typhoons Christine, Leon, Marce, Nika, and Ophel. Around 1.4 family food packs have also been distributed. The DSWD also assured that the country's warehouses are disaster-proof to ensure the continuous service and that the relief items are safe and protected.
Ang ating family food pack po ng DSWD ay good for a family of 5. That's good for 3 to 5 days. Yung stock na binibigay natin doon. At kung kakailanganin pa ng another stock, ay tayo ito'y namimigay ulit para sa kasunod na linggo naman.
Aside from relief items, the DSWD also extends cash assistance for those whose houses were partially or totally damaged.
Nagbibigay din tayo ng cash assistance dito sa mga apektado ng bagyo sa pamamagitan ng ating AIX or Assistance to Individuals in Crisis Situation. Yan po yung for immediate relief. Meron din tayo for early recovery partner na sa disaster response at yung binibigyan natin sila ng emergency cash transfer na pantulong sa kanila para pagpapatayo ulit ng kanilang mga bahay.
Undersecretary Punay also expressed confidence that the agency would have enough funds for disaster response.
May natira po tayo so far na 100 million na standby funds. At meron tayong inaantay partner. Apart from that 100 million standby, may paparating po na 875 million. So we're expecting it within the week or next week. Makukuha natin yung pondo na yan para makatulong sa pag-prepare naman sa mga paparating pang bagyo.
Based on DSWD's data, in total, more than 2.7 million families have been affected by the 5 tropical cyclones. Mobile Journal Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
Dami talaga nilang nagastos. Ulitin ko lang, total 1 billion na gastos nila. Pero they're waiting for the DBM to release 875 million pa para maitulong nga dito kasi parami yung mga affected families natin na sunod-sunod din yung pagpasok ng bagyo sa ating bansa.
Yeah, in the last 2 months, we were approaching 3 or 4 storms. And ang mistake lang natin na kahit si PBBM, sinabi naman niya yon, yung sa unang bagyo, hindi man in-expect na may sunod-sunod. So, nag-start mag-recover, mag-rebuild ng konti. Yung pala, nung tinamaan ulit, yung mga ginawa, nasira ulit. Kaya sabi ni PBBM, let's just focus first on making sure everyone's safe in the respective evacuation centers. And if it is clear already that wala nang tatamang bagyo in that certain area na may repeat, then maybe we can start rebuilding already. And this time around, yung housing permanent housing na sustainable away from the storm.
Away from the storm. So yun nga yung ano natin dito kasi yung mga kababayan natin nakaka-experience na daw ng typhoon fatigue. Hindi nila alam yung iba, babalik pa ba kami sa bahay namin? May babalikan pa ba kami? Or magsistay kami ng matagal dito sa evacuation
We cannot
centers?
blame naman Pag-asa for typhoon fatigue. They're just, predicting a storm is, sabi nga nila, it's like predicting a woman's attitude, which is very fickle-minded. So kaya nga sabi nila, when the storm changes, it changes every 15, 30, 45 minutes to 2 hours. So every time may change, nagbibigay sila ng update, di ba? So ang point natin is sometimes mapipredict mo yung bagyo, signal number 2, wala naman daw pala hangin, wala namang ulan. You have to remember, kasi may certain area sa northern area na ang tumama yung eye of the storm. Pag eye of the storm po ang tumama sa inyo, kahit signal number 4 pa yan, napaka-clear ng hangin po. Walang bagyo, walang hangin, mararamdaman, walang ulan.
Alright, sige, coming up. The Senate approves the 2025 budget of the Office of the Vice President in less than 10 minutes.
And former President Rodrigo Duterte finally attends the House Quadcom hearing on his controversial drug war.
Marami tayong pag-uusapan today. Ang aming brunch for today ay croissant. Ano ba ang sa inyo, mga brunchies? Mamaya babatiin namin kayo. Because we are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning! You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Happy Thursday po sa lahat ng ating mga brunchies. Batiin ko lang ito munang nasa YouTube. Si Alex Fuentes, si Geraldine Balolong, nanonood sa ating lagi mula sa Bukidnon, si Summer Cabrera, si Mark Santiago, Leonie Valdesoto, Francis Tiangco. Ayan, sabi niya, para ka daw vampire, Diego. Parang TGIS pa rin yung itsura.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oo, sige. Sino pa dyan?
Gimmick po yan, gimmick. Okay, Ralph Domingo, Duterte hearing is clear number 1. Juan Miguel Obronor, si Mig, sabi niya, pray for the Philippines to protect the country against. Of course, we all our prayers for everyone. Some Pokemon Go, Do Tri Lima, Duterte, Trillanes Lima. Laila de Lima. Dutri Lima for the... Ganda yun, I like that.
Love triangle.
For the top spot. Good morning daw sa atin lahat. And, Marvin Chavez.
Tapos si Tita Daisy, Tito Naldi, and Tito Nito, yan, nanonood sa atin yan. Si Amina Benales ng ating
Jesse Mendez family. Good morning. Good morning.
Si BJ, si Ralph Domingo, nasabi mo na ba? Yung mga usual suspects natin.
Binasa ko yung greetings nila.
Yes. Gary ko, Ronald Maxtea, mga nanonood sa atin.
Morning sa inyo lahat. Let's get right to it.
Coming in at our 7th spot, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden met at the White House following the election. Joey Francisco with a report.
After staying in Florida since Election Day, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump returned to Washington, D.C., where he stepped inside the White House for the first time in 4 years. Trump met with U.S. President Joe Biden inside the Oval Office for 2 hours, mainly discussing details of the transition of power between the two administrations.
It was indeed very cordial, very gracious, and substantive. And I mentioned at the top, national security was discussed, domestic policy issues were discussed.
But even if the transfer of power will officially happen in January 2025, preparations are underway for Trump's Oval Office return as Commander-in-Chief. Just days after his victory, the Inauguration Committee has started preparing the traditional parade route around the White House. Workers are now building bleachers and the surroundings fenced for security purposes. Trump is also busy selecting allies for cabinet posts, latest of which is his pick for Attorney General, Congressman Matt Gaetz. Before this, his pick for the defense portfolio, Pete Hegseth, got mixed reactions. It was also officially declared today that the Republicans will control the U.S. Congress. Trump immediately met with Republican lawmakers at the U.S. Capitol because of this. The election count continues in several states. The 2024 U.S. election saw historic wins for Filipino-American leaders from across the United States. Some were re-elected while the others clinched their first win. Christopher Cabaldon is the first PhilAm elected to the California State Senate. He leads 20 other PhilAm politicians who won positions in Congress, state assemblies, and other local posts.
Kasi it's very important for us as the Filipino-American that our voice will be heard.
2.14 million, or more than half of the known population of Filipino Americans in the U.S. voted in the 2024 elections.
Reporting from New York City, Joey Francisco, we are One News.
Yan,
Ganda naman ng background ni Joby doon.
nakakatuwa yung meeting ng dalawa. It's nice to see the two presidents na hindi nag-aaway.
Well, ganyan naman sa States, diba? Pinag-uusapan natin sa US lagi pa. Pagka mainit yung labanan ng eleksyon, pero pag natapos na, may resulta na, back to work na sila eh.
Well, that's not the case with Trump when he lost kasi.
Ano,
diba?
nung time na yon.
Pero nagtitake shape na yung cabinet ng Donald Trump. Very clear na he's making a different approach into appointing his cabinet as the first time. Kasi puro mga MAGA supporters and loyalists, no. Naging problema kasi ni Trump sa unang admin niya, sa unang 2016 mga appointees. He fired some of them early on into the admin because nagkakaiba sila ng there was issues on national security, nagkakaiba ng pananaw. This time he surrounded himself with MAGA, so-called MAGA loyalists. In other words, kailangan iisa lang ang vision nila to make sure
para
na
tuloy-tuloy, no? Walang magkokontrabidahan.
Actually, ang pinaka-sumisikat ngayon sa mga appointee yung si Homie, what's his name? Yung border czar. We all know how he had yung border czar na appoint, I think ito si Homie, no? Is very strong and stern in the way he works. He's been serving as part of the border control for the longest time, and he's known to be very, very tough on situations like this. Kaya sumisikat siya. Also, Elon Musk is appointed yung on government efficiency, meaning to streamline, or in other words, sa atin po, parang ARTA. Anti-red tape authority. Paano i-streamline government
good
process.
government,
process.
Pero meron din silang isang tinitignan din dito dun sa mga appointees. Yung chief of staff niya, si Susie Wiles. So, they're saying kasi siya yung co-campaign manager na talagang usually hindi talaga yung nagpapakita sa limelight. And right now, they're talking about her because she is going to be the first woman to serve as White House Chief of Staff.
Actually, si Susie Wiles has been a long-time Trump campaigner.
Yes.
But yung first campaign ni Trump kasi, she was not campaigning on a national scale. Kasi each state kasi, Republican or Democrats, they have one campaign manager each for each state, aside from the national campaign manager. Susie Wiles, I think, was for Florida or Texas. Florida, Texas campaign manager. Tapos, she stood by Trump all throughout, and siya ang actually architect nitong messaging ng Republicans
actually,
that made them win.
Nung pinakilala siya during one of the rallies, sinabi nga daw ni President Donald Trump na ito nga, ayaw lang niya magpakita lagi sa limelight, pero ito talaga behind all of these
actually
successes.
Very positive on feedback kay Wiles. It's because she's a veteran political sabi niya, political strategist and hard-nosed Republican daw yan. In other words, alam niya yung ins and outs of navigating the party and in politics. So perfect appointment daw yan.
Tapos habang ayun nga binubuo ni President-elect Donald Trump yung kanyang team unti-unti, of course included dyan yung kanyang Vice President-elect si J.D. Vance. And of course, yung mga iba pang mga cabinet members, tapos yung mga high-ranking nominees na i-require ng Senate approval or confirmation. And of course, yung mga inaabangan pa rin, yung mga senior advisors, hindi naman kailangan pa ng congressional approval.
And J.D. Vance, as Vice President, will serve as Senate President.
Senate President. Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Sizzling at the sixth spot is the country's cancer funds. Apparently, only less than half of our cancer budget were given to those who are in need this year so far. It was revealed during the Senate's budget plenary that the Health Department only exhausted 47% of its 1.2 billion peso funds for cancer aid. DOH's budget sponsor, Pia Cayetano, said it was not easy for patients to have access to the funds. She said that patients and hospitals have to abide to technical rules of the Commission on Audit before getting the money. In addition, the cancer aid funds only cover the leading cancers in the country. These include breast, liver, lung, and prostate cancer, among others. naging issue. Kasi I remember when I was an advocate or spokesperson for a cancer group, nagiging issue kasi is ano ba ang definition natin ng aid for cancer? Because when a cancer metastasizes to a secondary cancer, for example, it starts sa breast, lumipat sa isang cancer na hindi sakop ng aid, paano na yon? Kasi very specific ang cancer aid na, okay, breast. Pero usually kasi nag-clear yan sa breast, lumilipat sa iba.
Right.
Ang question ng marami is, pag lumipat ang cancer sa iba at clear ka na sa isang type of cancer, tuloy-tuloy pa ba ang aid? Kasi nung initially may confusion rin among those disbursing the aid. So dapat linawin yun. Number 2, the use of immunotherapy. On
Hindi pa
certain
yan
cancers. It's approved for some cancers but not all. But kasi every year nag-expand ang use of immunotherapy from breast to lung. Di ba? Madami ng application. So dapat i-expand rin nila yung coverage of itong aid ng some packages to immunotherapy habang na-discover nila yung benefits for other cancers.
Yes. Yung sinasabi nila na pag hindi daw sakop doon, yung sa nabanggit mo kanina, breast, liver, colorectal, adult blood, neck, lung, prostate, urinary bladder, and kidney. Sabi nila, pwede daw pumunta na lang sila sa DOH para dun sa medical assistance for indigent program nila. Doon, pwedeng tulungan outside those packages. Pero yun nga yung sinasabi mo, ang hirap din kasi minsan, ang tawag dito, ang hirap din na makuha yung mga fund doon.
Pero alam mo, they have to review this carefully kasi even statistics will show ang nangangailangan din ng tulong aside from yung mga indigents are also, of course, yung middle class.
Yes.
Well, sabihin nila, middle class, may income naman yan. That's right. Pero when cancer hits you, the battle itself costs millions and a middle class person will just opt to die instead of spending the money that he has saved. Kasi iniiwan niya sa family niya. So that's why a lot of lawmakers were saying, teka lang, if you look at the cost versus the income of the middle class, laki ng disparity, hindi kakayanin. So we should review also, ano ba talaga ang magiging general coverage itong package natin.
Totoo. Tsaka ang laki nung nila, yung unutilized na fund, sayang yun.
Because we have to remember, kung ang head of the family has cancer, middle class, and if he dies at an early age because of cancer at naiiwanan niya ang wife niya or with their children na hindi pa nagtapos mag-aral, the wife walang job at that moment, you have to remember this also creates the aspect na from middle class, that family na naiwanan, baka maging lower middle class or pababa ng pababa. So all middle class, bababa ng bababa ang cost of living nila. Therefore, yung taxes na pupunta sa national government, kukonti rin, di ba? So, itatamaan din ang income natin.
Totoo. Tapos yung sinasabi nila na bound sila kasi doon sa COA's rules, di ba? Yung doon sa mga may access sites, sinasabi nga nila na kasi kapag hindi yun na-liquidate yung mga amounts, hindi sila makaka-avail ulit ng package na yun.
Yeah.
Kaya daw lumaki-laki yung unutilized funds sila. So dapat ayusin natin kasi sayang may pera tapos hindi naman makikita mo yung mga kababayan natin sa mga government hospitals sa kapila. Everyday, madaling araw pa lang, aabutin hanggang gabi. Hindi pa rin nila makuha yung tulong mula sa government.
They should review that because I've talked to so many cancer patients that they opt to die na lang instead of spending the money that they have. Kasi para may maiwan sila sa mga anak nila.
All right, let's continue with our countdown. Moving over now to our top 5, the Coast Guard has released the video of China's recent harassment at Sabina Shoal. Filipino fishermen in the area were seen being shadowed and rammed by Chinese speedboats. The PCG condemns the incident, saying that the Philippines has the rights over Sabina Shoal. They also admitted to not being able to assist the fishermen due to lack of vessels in the area. Senator Robin Padilla, for his part, is pushing for PCG's modernization to prevent such incidents. Di ba? Pang ilang araw pa lang to na mulang maipasa natin yung dalawang Sea Lanes Act natin, Maritime Zones Act. Talagang yun yung lagi natin pinag-uusapan dito the moment it was passed. How is it going to be implemented?
Well, we all know, every Filipino, I think, more or less, yun naman, kahit ano pang law ipass mo. Hindi man susunod dyan. It's just that at least we're enforcing already. yung UNCLOS and making an official claim, a legal claim already to ours. So in the future, pag we decide to file additional cases sa China, we can say, oh, we passed this, we passed that.
We have all
And
of
yet,
this supporting
yes,
our
and yet other countries naman obeyed our Sea Lanes Act and then China defied.
hindi, oo.
So at least
Kaya nga
may
recently,
pinanghahawakan tayo.
Recently, di ba, they redefine or reconfirm yung kanilang baseline. Sinasabi nila, they're not talaga. Ang tawag din, hindi nila nire-recognize itong mga
Yes.
laws natin. Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
On our top 4 is about the OVP. The Senate has approved the 2025 budget of the Office of the Vice President in less than just 10 minutes. This as no senators raised questions on the 733 million peso budget proposed by the Senate Finance Committee. The committee adopted the House of Representatives' decision to cut the original budget pegged at 2 billion pesos. VP Sara Duterte raised concerns about the future of her satellite offices, citing possible unemployment of around 200 staff.
Yes, ma'am. The closure of satellite offices is a possibility depending on the budget. Kung walang budget, walang project, wala din silang gagawin. At meron ding mga personnel na mawawalan ng trabaho.
Oh, ayan. Kasi 'di ba kaya nagkaroon ng mga budget cuts dahil ayaw niya humarap sa Congress. Kung haharap man siya, ayaw niya ring sagutin. At sinabi niya, sige, bahala na lang kayo kung anong ibibigay niyo.
Kasi sinabi niya daw, the budget hearing is a hearing in disguise as a budget committee, pero impeachment daw, may impeachment brewing and other stuff like that.
Sinabi niya, diba, sige, bahala na lang kayo kung anong ibibigay niyo sa akin. Pero ito, hindi niya nasabi doon mismo, if I'm not mistaken, diba sa Congress, hindi niya sinabi na, may mawawalan dito ng mga trabaho, and that's 200 personnel.
Yes.
So by December 2025, 2024 rather, after hindi natin alam kung ano magiging fate nitong mga employees ito sa Office of the Vice President.
Pero kasi in the first place, sana initially sabi ng ibang lawmaker, she should have started out with a simplified OVP office, and then maybe i-pinpoint ano ba yung mga areas that need the VP's help.
Yes.
Diba? And then, doon ka mag-expand instead of just blindly setting up satellite offices in specific regions. She should have taken it easy, one point at a time. Kasi knowing naman yung constraints ng budget natin in the Philippines, that madami tayong kailangan pagtuunan ng pansin, from the defense budget to, of course, DepEd. Diba? Madami pang kailangan.
At tapos yun nga, yung ang tawag dito, yung isa pang budget na sinasabi sa kanya na kinat din dahil meron siyang yung mga pangpaayuda, burial assistance, diba, yung mga ganito. Sinabi naman niya during the hearing before na kasi hindi naman daw kasi pinapansin yung mga referral niya ng DSWD. At naging issue yan, sinabi ng DSWD rather. Meron naman kaming pruweba na, di ba, ina-accept naman namin yung mga
Just that yung mga ibang claimants daw kasi may double claim already. Yung iba naman are part of another ayuda program. So, syempre, i-disqualify nila yon. There are also guidelines that need to be followed.
Tapos itong mga satellite offices na to, sinasabi, mag-anniversary pa naman ng Office of the Vice President. Parang 80-something plus years. Kaya may mga, mga satellite offices. But we'll see paano yan. Kasi the Senate has already adopted this from the Congress, yung with no questions asked itong budget na to, from 2 billion to 733 million. Alright.
Okay, don't go away. We're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're definitely still watching Brunch here on One News.
Oo nga, kukuha muna ako ng ano ba to? Ubus na yun sa'yo Ay, hindi pa pala. Ano laman?
It's tuna croissant and I don't know. Pareho atang tuna croissant.
Okay, kakain.
Very similar to ensaymada.
Tuna?
No, I'm saying yung the way the bread was baked, it's similar. Okay, let's move on.
Hindi pa ako ready.
Okay, I'll start this off. Our top 3 spots are occupied by, of course, none other than the House Quad Committee hearing yesterday. And for the 3rd place, it is former President Rodrigo Duterte versus former Senator Laila de Lima. Now, Duterte was caught in the act of gesturing with a clenched fist to the former senator. At that time, De Lima was not aware of her seatmate's gesture literally behind her back. Duterte's staunch critics said he is a coward for threatening her during the hearing. De Lima also refuted the recurring drug allegations thrown against her.
I was cleared of all 3 drug cases. I underwent the whole process. Dumaan po ako sa buong proseso kahit mahirap, masakit para sa akin. Kinulong ako ng almost 7 years na hindi na po nila yan mababalikan dahil sa pagkagalit nung pinaka-mastermind nung pag-persecute sa akin.
Actually, ang nakakatawa dyan, bago yung amba ni Duterte, yung gano'n, di ba? Yung amba,
Oo.
so, I'm looking at it to screen
pinapanood mo eh. Oo.
yung amba ni Duterte, si De Lima naman was caught on cam na ng irap. Ito.
Ayan, may amba.
May amba si Duterte. De Lima naman was caught kasi on cam, pero hindi ito nakita ni PRRD. He was caught on cam na inirapan niya si Duterte while Duterte was talking. Ito naman, Mr. Si De Lima parang inaawat si former President Duterte.
Yes, kay Trillanes. Sa mamaya pag-usapan natin. Pero ito muna, yung nangyari between him and President Vigo Duterte. Kaya nga sinabi natin, di ba, the moment we saw them yesterday together dyan sa seat, imposibleng walang ano yan eh. Walang magiging kwento
Yes,
about
kasi
it.
pinagtabi mo pa yung dalawa.
Di ba yung sinabi sa kanya, ano sinabi ni former Senator Laila de Lima, I'm not comfortable, but I will stay.
Hindi daw kilala ni PRRD si De Lima dahil nag-iba daw ang buhok.
Iba yung kulay daw. Pero di ba usually yan yung parang biggest insult to a person. Kunyari, sabi mo, sino yan? Anong pangalan yan? Di ba? So feeling ko ganun yung nangyayari. But we'll see, di ba? Kasi maraming mga SOTs at saka mga videos na pinagpipiyasahan ngayon online dahil nga dito sa nangyari nga.
Ako, kailangan easy lang si Tatay Digong. Baka mamaya, baka ma-easy lang kasi matanda na si Tatay Digong. Relax lang.
You can see there, no, si former Senator Laila de Lima.
Pumipigil.
Pinigilan niya, no? I think her hand, di ba, her right hand was extended to the left hand of
Actually, there was
former President Vigo Duterte.
Move on to the next para mapag-usapan natin.
Okay, sige. On our top 2. Our top 2 is about the rivals Duterte and Trillanes. Former President Rodrigo Duterte loses his cool over former Senator Antonio Trillanes at the House Quadcom hearing. Trillanes challenged Duterte to sign a bank secrecy waiver to show his joint bank account with his daughter, Vice President Sara Duterte. The former senator alleged Duterte of earning millions of pesos from illegal drugs. This caused Duterte to blow his top and threatened to hit Trillanes with his mic. He also said that he will hang himself and ask his family to resign from the electoral positions if Trillanes' allegations are proven to be true.
Kung may isang totoo lang nakiting, I will resign and I will ask my daughter to resign and everybody in the family. That is my guarantee. And I will.
Okay, pasintabi lang po may ano yun.
Wag po gayahin yung we all know naman hyperbole statements ni PRRD. Pero there's another angle that was released yesterday na inuudyok ni former Senator Trillanes si PRRD na, sige, ngayon na. Kaya kinuha ni PRRD yung mic. Inambahan na.
Do we have a copy of that? Yung nakita natin, isang angulo na nakita natin.
Yung reverse angle.
Si Senator Trillanes na parang, sige, di ba? Parang calling yung...
Kinocall niya yung bluff, yung... That's what caused PRRD to... Ito ba yan?
Kasi yun nga, yung sa waiver, sinabi, sige, di ba, willing po ba kayo?
Actually,
napulmahan yung waiver, to sabi niya, anong kapalit? Sampaling ko to.
When he said that kasi, may camera angle na release kapan sa House also and another news agency na the camera was showing, from the perspective of the other side, showing Trillanes, parang sige nga ngayon na, something like that. Tapos, that's the exact same time na dinampot ni PRRD yung mic, tapos pinigilan parang ni Laila yung kamay kasi gusto ibatuhin. Gusto batuhin si Senator Trillanes.
Grabe. Gapon, ang daming mga pangyayari talaga dyan. And then we also saw di ba yung pagdating na surprise nga yung karamihan ni Vice President Sara Duterte doon. Hindi naman siya nagsalita kasi umupo lang siya doon, and we all know naman, I think that's a show of support, di ba, para sa kanyang
She only
rally.
spoke one time nung tumayo siya, in-approach niya yung
Yes,
chair,
yung mga,
barbers,
chairman.
requesting na baka gusto magpahinga ng daddy niya. Tapos
Kasi that's, what, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening?
mga 9 Tapos very funny lang yung reply ni PRRD. Kaya ko hanggang
Ay, hanggang alas 2.
Ay, parang wag niyo papakinggan yan. Vice President lang yan. Ako naging presidente ako.
Hindi naman presidente.
Hindi mo presidente yan eh. So,
Oo.
actually, for a lot of us, medyong, it may have been shocking at first, pero it's nakakamiss yung...
Na-miss mo ba?
Hindi, kasi parang ngayon medyong kalmado yung,
Yes.
aside from the Duterte saga versus Marcos, the current admin is pretty down the line, parang same as other admins, yung very calm, very statesman-like. During Duterte time kasi very animated, di ba?
Maraming drama,
madaming
very
SO,
colorful.
madaming sound bites,
Totoo.
madaming clips, di ba? At least, ito
Actually nga, yung nangyari yesterday na Quadcom hearing ay na-overshadow yung mga pamilya na nandoon ng biktima.
Ay, oo.
You were there kasi sinabi rin naman sa atin ni Congressman na Benny Abante na isa yan sa mga dadating na resource person. Actually, hindi nga niya nasabi na dadating
Hindi niya sabi.
si Trillanes, di ba? Pero yun nga, yung mga kamag-anak, mga kaanak ng biktima ng drug war. So, nagsalita din sila doon. And na-overshadow yun dahil nga dito sa mga drama. And of course, yung mga iba pang mga supposedly na pag-amin, confirmation ni former President Rodrigo Duterte dito nga sa allegedly mga drug wars.
very confusing lang ang amin ni PRRD kasi amin babawiin. Then later on, he'll say hyperbole or in-exage lang niya or ganito lang ako magsalita. Tapos, sige, sasama ako sa ICC para in handcuff. Tapos mamaya-maya, sasama lang ako pag may jurisdiction. So it's he's conflicting himself, conflicting statements siya.
Sabi nga niya, bilisan nyo na, bago ako mamatay, matanda na ako, sabi niya sa ICC.
Kaya winarningan siya ng, I forget who, yung young congressman na medyo napikon si Duterte, yung parehong lawyer, parang sabi niya na, you are trying to trap me. Diba? You're trying to trap me, ha? Parang ano. Tapos sinabihan pa niya, ang bilis mo magsalita.
Tapos isa din sa mga pinag-usapan dyan, yung si Congresswoman Luistro, yung naka-blue kahapon, dahil siya yung mga maraming naitanong kay former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Yes, oo.
Okay, sige. Let's continue now with our countdown.
On our top spot, we're still talking about the heated and exciting House Quad Committee hearing that lasted more than 12 hours. You heard it right. Former President Duterte himself admitted again that he killed some alleged drug personalities during his time as Davao City Mayor. He also changed his tone about the International Criminal Court and challenged them to investigate him immediately. Here's the report.
Ako, marami. Mga 6 or 7 in one drug den doon sa Davao City. 4 na Chinese, pinatay ko talaga. Sinadya ko talang patpatayin.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte was unapologetic in admitting that he killed people during his stint as Davao City Mayor. During the House Quadcom hearing yesterday, Duterte took full responsibility in all the deaths that happened under his bloody war on drugs. He even confirmed that alleged reward system for the police that incentivized them to kill more alleged drug personalities. Duterte said the funds for the reward system came from the excess campaign money he received when he ran as president.
Bigyan ko yan sila ng, okay, I'll give you 20,000. May sobra niyan, magsabi sila, sir, hindi na ubos. Kasi nahuli ka agad.
But in accordance with the rule of COMELEC, yung excess money po na ginagamit po natin sa kampanya must be returned back to the COMELEC, Mr. Chair, to the donors, Mr.
Maniwala
President.
ganyan. Tanungin kita, sinong kandidato nagsauli?
Mr. President, you cannot ask question.
Duterte expressed his willingness to be investigated about the drug war. In fact, he is now welcoming the International Criminal Court, or ICC, to probe him. Recall that Duterte pulled the Philippines out of the ICC as he faced local and international backlash for his anti-drugs campaign.
I'm asking the ICC to hurry up, and if possible, they can come here and start the investigation tomorrow. The ICC does not scare me a bit. They can come here anytime.
Based on the government's records, over 6,000 people were killed during the drug war. But the International Criminal Court has way higher estimates than that. ICC Assistant Counsel Attorney Cristina Conti said the International Tribunal can use Duterte's recent statements.
Pwede pong gamitin ng mga sinabi ni Duterte dito at sa Senado sa pagbubukas po ng trial sa ICC at sa kahit na ano pa man pong korte.
If ever Duterte surrenders to the ICC, the Marcos administration will not stop him. And just in case that the ICC will issue a red notice to arrest Duterte through the Interpol, they will also honor the request. The House Quadcom hearing with Duterte yesterday lasted for over 12 hours. It is still unclear if Duterte will go back to the next hearings to further answer the allegations against him and face the relatives of the slain drug war victims.
Actually, also sa hearing, no, I'd like yung line of question ni Congressman Gutierrez. He asked Duterte that aside from yung mga previous admissions niya about yung supposed EJK or in death squad, kung may napatay na daw siyang tao, and PRRD would tell him the story about may mga nights as mayor that he would drive around in his motorcycle with his gun. Tapos nagdadasal daw siya na may ka-enkwentro siyang mga skalawag, mga siraulo, di ba? So, tinanong ni Gutierrez, then sa pagbabiyahe niyo po as sa motorcycle niyo, may napatay. Meron siya daw napatay na 4 people. Yung mga iba kasi daw na binababaan niya, hindi naman daw bumubunot ng barel. Pero yung iba daw bumubunot ng barel, inuunahan na daw niya, pinatay na daw niya. No cases were filed, pero umabot daw sa fiscal ito, yung 4 people na pinatay niya. He doesn't even remember them. Basta sinabi niya na during his motorcycle nights nangyari ito. Not all of them daw had a gun nung pinatay niya. Parang sinabi niya siguro may ibang weapon or something.
Talagang ang dami niyang mga admissions dito na sabi nga pwedeng magamit daw kung sakasakali sa ICC.
Pero most of these admissions, like this for example, ito, parang hindi ata parang hindi ata magagamit to kasi in course of self-defense siguro to, naimbestigahan ng police, but ang point kasi nila Congressman Gutierrez, mayor ka doon di ba? Parang pero na-investigahan ng police, na-clear ng fiscal na in self-defense, si PRRD, so no cases were filed.
Kaya nga sinasabi ni FPRRD yesterday, di ba? Bakit? Di naman to korte, di ba? Sinasabi niya, hindi daw yun, wala siyang parang pag-amin doon, parang hindi naman ito yung korte. Isa sa mga sinabi din niya when he was being asked about kung alam niya yung isang lugar na parang shooting range. Tapos sabi, alam ko yan. Di ba? Diyan ako nagpa-practice para pumatay. Di ba? Parang yung ganun yung sinabi niya. Of course, ang dami talagang natalakay. It was 12 hours, 13 hours.
12 and tapos, this was the request of PRRD na ganun kahaba.
Sabi niya 10-day marathon. I don't think it's gonna happen. Pero tingnan natin kung babalik pa siya. Pero this is the 11th hearing na ng Quadcom.
And si Congressman Acop assured PRRD the expenses will be covered with regards to travel and lodging. Kasi ang worry ni PRRD yung retirement pay niya, yung pension niya, baka maubos daw Tapos nag-joke pa si PRRD, salamat po sa tulong na yan na 3 pamalengke din yan sa amin.
Pero naging issue din doon, na napag-usapan din doon through, of course, sinabi rin ni former Senator Laila de Lima, yung matagal na nilang pinag-uusapan about kung sako pa ba tayo ng ICC or not, because humiwalay tayo, umalis tayo ng 2019, nangyari yung mga EJKs when we were part of ICC. So, in-explain nyo, di ba, ni
There's several interpretations na sinabi ni Nery Colmenares, also Laila de Lima, former Senator Laila de Lima, also kay Attorney Chel Jokno, also si Medial Dia, former Executive Secretary.
Kasi mga lawyers.
And Senator Laila de Lima cited a Supreme Court case penned decision by, I forget the name of justice, na nagsasabi just because na wala ka na based sa Rome Statute, just because you're no longer part of that the ICC doesn't mean you're cleared from all the obligations you still have. It's like simply daw entering into a contract. If the contract states there are certain obligations you have to fulfill. Just because kinansel mo yung contract doesn't mean yung inagrihan mo nung una na i-fulfill mo, hindi mo na kailangan i-fulfill. So parang sinasabi sa ng Supreme Court, teka lang, we have to fulfill this duty sa ICC investigation. Doon nagkaka-gray area kasi the word is investigation. Now, ibang usapan with regards to may jurisdiction ba over actual filing of cases pag na-file ng case and the arrest warrant, di ba? The arrest warrant nga will not be coursed through the ICT. It will be coursed through the Interpol to the PNP.
to the local police
Oh,
natin.
ngayon,
Kasi
kung hindi
alam naman
mag-cooperate,
natin, Interpol, wala naman siyang jurisdiction.
And the government
to arrest.
stated naman yesterday din.
Oh,
Sabi na-
actually, it's the first time, sabi nga na parang
Binasa kay
landmark piece ito ng PBBM admin na
Oo.
nagsabi sila na, sige, hindi naman namin siya mapipigilan kung gusto niyang isubmit himself
Oo.
sa ICC.
And John, they also mentioned about the Interpol pag nagka-red notice, we will not hinder that.
Oo, sabi
so,
niya ganun. Kasi ano din tayo dyan, member pa tayo. And
Yeah, member
we're
pa tayo.
one of the founding fathers dyan. And ngayon, ang isa pang malaking tanong dyan, bakit daw maraming taon nang nakalipas tungkol dito sa EJK na to, wala man lang daw nagsampa ng kaso
yes.
sa PRRD.
Party.
Oo. Kaya-
Well, that remains to be seen. Let's see moving forward.
A-attend pa ba siya? That, hindi natin alam pa as of now. Kung kailan ang next hearing, that would be on November 21.
All right. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us on another action-packed brunch Thursday morning. Of course, galing tayo sa hearing yesterday, which was full of sound bites and video cuts. And with that, I'd like to leave everyone with a quote to start your morning right. Successful people are not gifted. They just work hard, then succeed on purpose. A quote from G.K. Nielsen.
And of course, stay tuned pa rin dito sa mga programs ng One News because we'll give you updates also dun sa mga typhoon natin dito sa Pilipinas. Of course, yung mga kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan sa affected areas. Okay?
And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again at tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunzad-Castro. He is Angelo Castro III. We are One News. All sides, all the time.